Friends, I've been doing a series of videos on sounds that I'm programming for the LT25 Fender amp Mustang. And I did a Telecaster recently. I thought I'd do my Les Paul this morning just so you can see what I'm using. I've got a 2009, I think it is, Les Paul Studio. And I've got another guitar that is a Washburn WP50 that's very much like a Les Paul Standard. Probably not in this video, but in a future video I'll show how maybe these same sounds sound with that guitar, which is a little different. These sounds that I've programmed for the Les Paul should work for just about any kind of Les Paul. It should sound pretty nice, even for SGs, although SGs might be a little brighter. You might have to dial back some of the treble or something. Let's just jump into what I've done here. I've got about 12 patches on the LT25 that I really like, that I've come up with, I kind of dig. I'm recording it here so you can see this first one uses a Princeton amp. Now I tend to like a Les Paul to sound just like a Les Paul. I don't try to do a whole lot of weird things with it. Very limited amount of effects that I use, and I use those effects kind of subtly most of the time. You'll see some of them here that are a little more pronounced than others. But I like Fender amps, I like Marshall amps with Les Pauls. I don't typically use Voxes, models, and stuff like that. So this is sort of like what you hear in the blues rock genre, and so that's what you're going to get with me. Forgive me, it's early morning in North Carolina. It's like before 6 a.m. I'm still half asleep, but hopefully I'll play okay. And so here is the amp and the amp settings I'm using. And you can see I've got the twin clean. I've got the chorus, and I've got the plate. I said Princeton, maybe down here I used a twin clean, not bad. Folks, I almost always put this noise gate, this metal gate. It's one of the best things about the amp, is it just totally hushes everything. And I don't particularly like a whole lot of the stomp box stuff. I like to get my distortions. So the metal gate is in there along with a bunch of like tube screamers and stuff, and like Mythic Crunch and stuff that I just don't use. I'd rather get my distortions off of gain off the amp, just like you would in an old school amp. So here again, maybe I'm being old school, but these are the sounds that I use with my plate, my chorus, and then my amp. And this is this sound, which I tend to go set up my clean sounds first, and then my distorted sounds kind of toward the end. Kind of a nice sound there. That was in the bridge position. Here's how it sounds on the in between the pickups. Here's how it sounds in the neck. How might it sound for a lead? Pretty nice little sound there. Let me move on to another one here. My number 40 that I've done is a, so what is it? What do I got here? I've got the 50s twin, and you see I've got the gain and all set. Again, I have the metal gate just to keep everything very quiet. I've just got a simple delay on this one. Here's how it sounds. I'm just letting you hear the trails there. That was in the neck. Let's hear how it sounds in the bridge. Nice, pretty nice. And in the middle position. number 41 here is a Les Paul with a medium delay, and it looks like I have plate reverb on there. So I'm using the 70s clean on that. See, I got the volume jacked up, the gain way down, so it'll be very clean. And then I've got a delay, and again I got my plate reverb that I like. So that's how here's how that one sounds. Let's go to the neck position first. Here's how the bridge sounds on that one. And in between. So here is number 42 is my LP. This one does have the Princeton amp, the chorus, and the spring. So I'll show you the amp settings first. I'll show you what I've got here is my chorus. And here's a spring reverb. And the spring reverb is pretty nice on this. It is kind of like a 60s spring reverb. I'll let you hear that a little bit. You hear my chorus is here a little bit. Let me play a little bit of finger style maybe for this one. That was on the in-between position here. Here's how it sounds with the neck pickup. Sounds really nice for a lead type sound on this one. Just a little bit of crunch there, and if you back it off, of course, a little bit with your volume, then you got it even cleaner. Moving on here, let's go to this is my I've got my okay. You hear that little bit of noise there that came on? The gate totally kills that, but listen if I were to turn the gate off. That's how awesome this gate is. I love the one knob control on it. It does exactly what you want a gate to do. But here's my 70s Marshall. This is going to be a little bit more crunchy. And then I've got just an echo on it. So these are my settings for this sound. like you want to rock a Les Paul to sound. I love it. Of course, that's going to be. Sweet. So I'm going to move on to the next sound. That's one of my favorite ones there. It's just funny how this doesn't take a whole lot of creativity here. I just mess around with things I know I like a lot. Now this phaser, I might this phaser a little bit too much in this one. It's a Les Paul with a 70s rock with a phaser, and then I've got a plate at the end, and I've got a pretty good amount of crunch on this one here too. I got the gain set up halfway, so here's how the phaser's set, and here's how the plate is set at the end. It's funny how if you go maybe to the back pickup to the bridge, you notice the phaser even more. How does it sound without the phaser? It sounds really nice. I'll go ahead and turn it off. You got a lot of nice sustain there, don't you? Let me move on here and show you my number 45 here is a Les Paul with the Excelsior amp. Now this amp sounds just nasty. Here's how I got it set up, and here's really all I'm using for it is a spring reverb. So listen to how kind of rude this sounds. I dig that amp. This is kicks, man. I got to do some more messing around with that Excelsior. Here is the this one's got the clean amp, the studio preamp. So I just did this, I guess, mostly for a nice delay sound. I got trim on this though. I like to sometimes use very light tremolo, however you want to say it. Here's how I got the studio amp set up. Here's how I've got my delay set up. And here's how I've got my small room. The small room sounds nice on this. pretty nice. I like it a lot. Going on here, number 47 is my Les Paul with the 80s rock, and it's an 80s Marshall you can see here, and I've got the gate, there's a plate on the end of it. So there is the 80s rock, and here's the plate sound. And here, a totally different kind of a rock crunch sound. This is pretty aggressive. Here's in the rhythm sound. Kind of how you want a Les Paul to sound, isn't it? Excellent. Let's move on to the next one here. Number 48 is my Supersonic. The Supersonic amp on this thing sounds great. I wish I had 10 different patches set up with the Supersonic. And so here I've got a flanger on this one a little bit just to kind of give it some pizzazz. And then I've got just a delay, no reverb or anything. So here's how that sounds. That amp sounds killer. It does kind of resolve into some noise there at the end. I might throw that threshold up just a little bit on the gate. Awesome sound, that one. This one is number 49. It's got my Les Paul with the metal amp. Let me show you how I've set that up. There's the alt metal. Here is just the small room at the end. This is more of a punch kind of sound that I've created. Killer sounding amp, and it's actually pretty quiet. Killer sound. This thing is just, this is an awesome little amp. This thick semi-dark here. Let me see what I got here. Okay, I think I've actually cycled through everything. I think the thick semi-dark is for my Strat. So you can see how that sound does not sound good at all. So what I've done, I have set up, when I move into the realm of what, I say Strat, that's for my Telecaster. When I move into the realm of what sounds good in my Telecaster, it doesn't sound good with the humbucking pickups. So what you're going to find out with the LT25, it works really equally well with humbuckers and single coils naturally, since it's a Fender product. But the thing I like to do is just dial in the amps that I know are going to sound good with a Les Paul. And I just know over years of playing, I've never owned some of these amps. That's what I love about it. But I've played through some of my buddies' amps. I have a friend that's got like a massive collection of amps. So I've played through Princetons, I've played through Supersonics, I've played through various different kinds of Marshalls, Plexis, Mesa Boogies, and all that. And I've just been all these years wanting that kind of sound. And does this get close to the sound? Sort of close, it really does. There's nothing like sitting in front of a Mesa Boogie cranked really up, or a Plexi, and you got it dialed in just right, and you got a Les Paul or a Strat or something, and it's just that big sound coming at you. But for a small studio, I gotta say, you can dial in a sound that's pretty dang close, and then you can boost it and EQ it in certain ways in your studio setting to get kind of a sound that's going to be very acceptable, I think, in recordings. And what I'm going to try to do soon, folks, is kind of put some of these sounds that I'm building into context. I've got a lot of band-in-a-box projects I've been working on. It may be more of an instrumental type thing. Might get Nikki involved on singing a few songs, but I'm going to try to start using some of these sounds that I'm sharing with you in some real musical context, so you can see, rather than me just banging out mess on the guitar. I'm just all I'm doing is playing chords and notes and stuff that I know won't get me copyright strikes. So sorry for the bad playing, but hopefully you'll dig the sounds. And if you want to use these sounds, certainly you may. If I missed any of them and didn't display them, I'll maybe try to take screenshots of these and put them somewhere, maybe on Google. Anyway, peace to all who watch. Subscribe to the channel and let me know what you think of the sounds.